doing now, because
Okay.
I'd switched industries, and you'd kind of mentioned like, oh, he switched industries. He probably doesn't really know that much about this
I
industry.
remember.
So I did that, and I think it felt good. I take a look at it. I mean,
Oh, it's a little digital.
I thought I did a good job, but no. I'm not in a place where I could like pull it up and read it to you, though.
I can read it. I got it right here, man.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep, I got it right here. Hold on. All right. So, again, your byline. The one thing I would say, Trevor, so real quick. That's my man, Trevor Mills, making it happen. Layton, Utah. Where is Layton?
It's basically Salt Lake City.
Okay. All right. All right. So I help my clients beat the skilled labor shortage by finding them skilled long-term talent they need to thrive. I allow business owners to focus on growing their business instead, while I help them find people that they need. I help HR managers get qualified pre-screened candidates faster so they can focus on retention. Okay, cool. So you're talking about this is how I help you, etc. I think the key thing with the opening, and then let's go through the jobs themselves, or like we'll go through the roles. One, you're talking about the problems. You know, what I would say in your world in particular, how many recruiters are out there, right? How many people would say this thing right here? You know what I mean? Or like some version of that.
Thousands in Utah alone.
Yep, exactly. And so what I would say, anytime you're in a crowded market, what you want to do is show that you get it. And so what I mean by that is when we're thinking about like working with our clients, when we're thinking about this process in particular, you know, I always want to just call out the elephant in the room, right? So for us, like whenever we're doing pitches or we're talking to people, be like, look, I know how you feel about McKinsey. I know how you feel about consulting, right? And then people laugh, right? Because we all have this kind of view. Actually, here, everyone, let me just go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's see here if I can share this real quick. Share. Okay. So this is Trevor's profile, everyone, so y'all can see. I like to call those things out because that shows that you get it. You know, like I don't ever want to have like an objection come up because they're like, yeah, everybody else can say it. So when you're thinking about writing this, it goes back to Jonathan, what we were talking about with you, man. Show that you get their world, right? Show that you understand that as a, you know, whatever it is, you know, person, you know, again, like as an agency owner, I get you. I know these are the things you're thinking about. So again, I think you've got the start of it here, Trevor, which is like, look, I get you business owners. You're trying to find people. You're doing a million things. Can you breathe some more like humanity into it, right? So it's not just like, I allow business owners. So the other piece is, again, man, so you came from, where did you come from? What did you do at Fox Pest Control?
I was the branch manager.
All right, what does that mean?
So I did everything from top to bottom. I sprayed customers' houses. I took care. I trained the sales team. I trained the pest control technicians. I managed. I put out all the fires. I did maintenance on the trucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it, man. I can see what you did. I mean, so if you guys see what Trevor did here, so Trevor was a GM, right? He was a GM at Fox Pest Control, right? He was doing a ton of different stuff, right? But now he's, you know, started his own recruitment firm, right? Or he started it, you know, 2.5 years ago now. So how did he frame what he did? And I don't know if everyone can kind of like get close on that for what Trevor's up to. But for those of you who are on the screen, like one of my biggest challenges I had as a branch manager was finding rock star pest control technicians, right? It was a tough job to hire for because the job is, you know, dirty, sweaty, hard into the Texas sun. I love it, man. So I think like this is exactly right. So what he did is basically took his skills that he had from his other role and he basically made it relevant to what he's doing now. Right. And I think you can go even further here. I think you can make this more about like, I had a lot of people apply, resumes weren't for the right people. So I really like this, man. I think you've done a really good job. You know what I mean, man? Like, I think you've done a really good job of like embracing this idea. Yeah. This camera does make it backward. Go to Trevor Mills in Layton, Utah on LinkedIn. We'll share it in here. Brian Fromberg, what's up, man? So branch manager. So again, what I want all of you guys to think about, like Jonathan, Glenn, Patrick, Trevor, this is what you should be aiming for, right? So when you think about rewriting those previous roles, every single one, it's the same thing as your resume. I talk to a lot of younger people too about their resume, and they're like, Jake, I'm trying to get a job in sales. And, then they'll talk about the experiences that they had in previous roles. I'm like, well, didn't you do sales like this? Wasn't this sales? Wasn't this? And they're like, oh yeah, like, I guess I did do sales, right? Or whatever it is. Like, if you want to go from sales into product, how can you talk about the things that you did in the past that are relevant to product, And that's, more on like the job seeker front. But, again, that's good, man. I'm glad you like it. Again, I really like this, man. I think you've done a good job, man, of really embracing a lot of this. How have the shares been going? How has the commenting and the shares been going?
So this week I got 10 likes on one post, which is like a big improvement for me. So I was like, to go from 1 or 2 likes to 10 and 12, and then like getting some engagement was like really great. It was like fun to see people. I connected with a guy this week that I met with the guy, and then we connected on LinkedIn, and then he tagged me in a post to see if I could help someone find a job. And that was really cool to see that like this guy was really active on LinkedIn, and he was like helping me be seen, and I got to help somebody else out that I didn't know. So I got to connect with 2 people. So it was good. I had a guy say, I met with a different company this week, and one of the guys said, hey, I see you on LinkedIn all the time, but this guy like doesn't engage with any of my content. He doesn't engage with so I was just like, well, at least he saw me. That's like the first step in the right direction. But I was just wondering, like,
100, man,
if there was something else I could be doing to get him, because he's my ideal buyer. Like he's not engaging, but he like saw me, and so I would love him to see me and engage, and then reach out when he had a need. So,
dude, it's a long game. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people with LinkedIn, like that's why they're failing with LinkedIn. Well, it's the same as other social channels, Instagram, Facebook. Like you can't just start asking out of the gate. Like you can't just start like, hey, do this, do that. I think a lot of people where they struggle is, it's all good, dude. That's what it is. Like you're getting exposure. You're getting 200 views or whatever it is. Not all those people are going to stop by and like leave a comment. And again, I think what's cool for everyone here, like you can see Trevor's like been putting in a lot of effort. He's been posting like every day, every other day, as a part of this. And again, his posts that did really well, a lot of the posts he's doing are pretty easy kind of text posts here. Again, he gives his company a little shout out here on their first week. But again, the posts that did really better, again, it's around interviewing, right? The other thing that you'll see he did on this post, again, and he did it on this post too, is you guys can start to experiment with some of the hashtags. LinkedIn's like okay with hashtags. And you can always, if you want, you can go up in the search of LinkedIn, just type in the hashtag and it'll tell you how many people are actually following it. So, you might want to like type in a hashtag and you're like, oh, I'm sure everyone's doing this and like 8 people are following it. You're like, all right, maybe I should pick a better hashtag. But that's awesome, man. Again, a lot of this is just about volume, right? If you go back and look at some of my posts in like April or February, man, I had lots of posts that got 3 likes, 4 likes, 5 likes, etc. Right? And a lot of this is just about consistency, man. Just every single day, just putting out a thought. And how much time did this take you, Trevor?
Most of them took like 15 minutes or less. To post them. So. 15
minutes, right? And again, this is 1 week, and he already has some guys saying like, yeah, I see you everywhere on LinkedIn. I get that all the time. And it's like, I put out 1 post a day. You know what I mean? And I think, and a lot of this, again, is just cumulative effect of like what happens when you start to do this more and more and more over time. Because again, like then people start to think that you really are everywhere. Okay, cool. All right. So who else has made some updates So again, Trevor, great job, man. Awesome job of just like diving in head first, man, and just trying some different stuff, which is great. Who else? Who else has made some updates?
Specifically, I really like.
I updated my profile, Jake. If you want to take a look.
Yeah, let's do it.
Patrick.
I don't know. So somebody else.
Not board meeting. Is there a way that?
Emily, you got it?
WOLO. Yep.
I got you, man.
So I actually took a deep dive into both yours and Emily's as examples, and tried to model it a bit off of you guys. I think you did a good job of humanizing yourself in the description and just keeping it short and to the point. So that's really what I went for.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, I like it. I mean, like your picture, you're kind of like a human. You know, like it's like, all right, hey, this guy's likable. He's on stage at the trading show, right? So you're showing a little like street cred there as well too. So all right, let's go into it. You guys can all see my screen here. So show more. So again, I'm talking about like, hey, what's happening in history, acceleration of technologies, evaporating barriers, early stage companies, right? So I read this first part. I'm like, okay, if I'm an early stage company, I might want to talk to this guy, right? Major shift. Yep. With business limited financing alternatives, access to funding through leveraging the greatest access, intellectual property. I think Patrick, you could probably start to get into this a little bit more. Like as entrepreneurs, you know, you need two things. You need sales and you need revenue, like at knowledge base, you know what I mean? Like, I think you could maybe get into it a little bit faster. Sure. You know, when you start to think about people's attention span, right? You came over, you were on LinkedIn, you viewed my profile, and then I come back, right? And so a lot of these people, man, they're not going to click this like show more. They're just going to come, take a quick look, see what's going down, and then they're going to bounce. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that like that top part there, that there's something that's a little bit more about that, you know? So again, over the course of this year, I've been fortunate enough to speak with the best entrepreneurs all over the world about raising capital. The feedback has allowed me to iterate. So again, it's still a little bit about you, you know? I think what you could probably go deeper on, and again, even updating some of your previous roles, is just over and over and over again about how you have helped business owners access capital to see 300x growth. Like, I don't know if you have any stats or any data around the impact of revenue or the funding, and maybe even going back to, you know, Patrick, I met you when you were at, you know, Sales Swami, you know, even going back to there, like, what did those companies do after they worked with you? You know, so whether it was you helping them to generate revenue, or whether it was, you know, you helping to like generate revenue or get them access to capital, because I'm sure you worked with companies that then went and raised money, didn't you?
Correct.
Yeah.
So the question I have in the individual descriptions at each respective company is more around the phrasing. Is it, you know, like you said, kind of this page is a representation of yourself. So are you phrasing it more as I did this, my accomplishments, or, you know, we did this at company XYZ, maybe a mix of both? You know, being like the founder, yeah, you want to phrase it that way, but okay.
It's man. I mean, even again, you don't ever want to like, look, if you're an account executive and you're talking about how you helped the company raise like $50 million, it's like, come on, man. Right. But like, there's some like in between, you know what I mean? About how you help to position them to get into like that position or like whatever it is. So as I think about this, man, for you, again, I think there's probably ways that you can do it. You know, in business development, like where was the company before? Where was the company after? I think in your type of that, and I think it's something, candidly, I don't think I do a very good job of it on my own LinkedIn profile. And I think it's something at Skaled, like we've acknowledged as well too. Like what we're seeing more and more value is, you know, Emily's on the line too here, you guys can see, is, you know, we're seeing a lot more value and a lot of interaction when you do show people results. So we released a video case study a week ago, and it got some of the best results or best engagement we've ever had from a Skaled share. So I think what that's the leading indicator, what it's telling us is that people people want to understand the output of what you've done, not just the like who you are, like what the resume reads. So I think for you in particular, because you're talking about helping people to get access to capital, I think talking about the before and after is cool. You know what I mean? I think it can be like super, super, super helpful. And then, so I can see the activity, Patrick.
I owe you some posts.
What's up with the activity?
I owe you some posts this week.
You owe yourself some posts, man.
I've admittedly been slacking. Yes.
I mean, again, think about what's happening with Trevor. Trevor's posting. He's getting, 3 likes and 4 likes, and then he's getting 11. And I'm telling you, man, this stuff is just going to start to continue to grow for you. Again, you're liking a lot of posts, commenting, oh, this is a great post to like, obviously. But I think, again, with a lot of you guys, like it's a combination of these different things. It's about aligning the profile, sharing the right content, and then interacting, which we haven't talked a lot about. And I want to spend the last maybe 10 minutes talking about interacting, with people on LinkedIn. I want to show you another person. Is Danielle on? If she's not, I'm going to show you. So Danielle, I know rewrote her profile as well too. So I want you to see hers in particular. So check it out. It's Danielle Schultz, Barrand, something like that, maybe something that. Sorry, Danielle. So again, what does she talk about? Right? It's never been a more challenging time. Like I understand competitors are all over the place. All these things, AI tech is a silver bullet, but it takes more than this, right? So I'm proud. And then she goes into a little bit we get in the trenches of every unique company to help them understand what truly drives price, customer loyalty, behavior. Again, I think she could maybe bring some of that to the top, just hint at it in that top section. But this is what I'm talking about, right? And then you can see here how she rewrote part of the profile here as well too, right? I connect B2B leaders with our experts who can help transform competing anecdotes and subconscious bias within the organization into actionable guide. I mean, I don't even know what that means, but I like it. And then her next thing here is what she did. Then she started to talk about some industry expertise. She got some articles mixed in that she's been a part of as well too, which is awesome. You know what I'm saying? So, when I look at this, I'm like, I go back to Danielle's. Everyone check out Danielle Schultz, Behrend's LinkedIn profile. But again, keep in mind, she's an SDR. Do you guys all know what SDRs is? Sales development reps. So sales development rep is someone who sets appointments for the salespeople, right? A lot of you know this, but I know Patrick knows it. So think about it. So what she is saying, look, I connect you to industry leaders. Guess who the industry leaders are? The sales team, right? But like, what an awesome set up for that sales team to be able to show them that if you're a buyer and you talk about it like that, like I'm going to set you up with an industry expert, that gets you excited to have the conversation versus I'm going to set you up with an account executive. You know what I mean? So again, her job is a sales development rep, right? I get you. I know the pains you're going through. I'm going to help connect you to the people who can help to transform, your business. Like that's cool. Right. So, I mean, there's some really amazing examples here of what people have done. What I want to do is, I think all of you now kind of get this concept that what you need to be doing if you're thinking about your LinkedIn strategy is you need to think about what you're saying in your profile and what your jobs say about you. And then obviously kind of just being consistent in the way that you're sharing things. And again, I think Trevor, big shout out, doing a lot of sharing, which is amazing. It's so great to see. Danielle, you can see here, Danielle's been a lot more active as well too. I'll just show that. And then I think what I'd like to do is kind of end strong here. Obviously, look, you don't want to just share and not ask for forever. So I want to get into some questions you guys have about actually interacting with people. And let's get into some of that as well too. So a good thing that Danielle's doing here, you can see here, she's still not posting like as much, but she's interacting. That's the other thing. Every single person, and Trevor, I think you did have someone who commented, that CIO or the guy who said, hey, great job. Make sure you always respond. Respond to every single comment. Build, let them know that you're there. So here you go. Again, she got promoted, so she promoted that. Again, just make sure that you literally interact with every single person. So it sounds like A few of you have rewritten the profile. Now this week is about make a post every morning. Every morning, make a post. That's my advice here. So as we wrap up, what I want to do is, again, I want to talk about doing like actual outreach and messaging and things to send. I'm not going to pull up a bunch of people and all the messages I got this week. A lot of this stuff is just like straight garbage. I can tell you what makes straight garbage messaging is when you connect with me and then immediately send me an email, I get a message about meeting because I'm an IT company and you think it's a fit. So again, like my number one pet peeve is when you connect with someone, at least give it a few days before you send anything, because you don't want them to immediately, you're a taker, right? You're just asking for something immediately whenever you connect with someone, and then you immediately start to just ask them for a meeting, and you don't know. 9 times out of 10, the reps don't even qualify things. So, all right, so let's wrap up. Let's do 2 questions, and then after today's session, so all of you on the stream here, all of you on this webinar, we're going to set up one-on-ones with all of you to do kind of a one-on-one comprehensive session. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, DM me, DM Skaled, and we can see if we can slot in a few of you as well too to help you one-on-one kind of rewrite or think about how to make your LinkedIn presence more applicable to the buyer. So that'll be the next step. So we'll do the one-on-ones, which is going to be awesome. But I want to spend, again, for everyone, I know what to say on LinkedIn can be a challenge. So I'd love to hear from maybe 1 or 2 of you of maybe some strategies that you've tried, what's worked, what hasn't worked. And let's see if we can kind of give you guys some tactical things to try the rest of this week. Oh, some people are raising. They've all been muted. Trevor, what about you, man?
So when I message people, I feel a little bit robotic because I want to be professional. But I also I'm a little bit nervous to share, to be personable. Do you have any insights on that? Sometimes my messages come out pretty dry and, more robotic feeling than I'd like them to.
Tell me about that. What do you mean by they come across like robotic?
Well, I like to...
So your messages when you're DMing people, they come across robotic. Like, what's a good example?
So
are you just overly professional? Is it that you're like, hello, dear Danielle? Is it is that what it is?
That's the feel of a lot of my messages. It's very professional. I try to word it I try to word it in a way I'm just hello, my name is Trevor. I'm the Director of Talent Solutions at Exemplar. And then I put in a little pitch, or I just say, I noticed that you had this job on your website, and my team and I have placed a bunch of those people in the last 6 months. We would love to help you guys out. Something like that's I've sent out a bunch of messages like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the key, man, is get more specific with the jobs, right? When it comes to the jobs world, the most important thing that you can do is get specific. Look, man, I know that you business owner, technicians, those guys quit all the time, except for the guys who have been there for life. I have, people, these technicians, these are guys I've worked with that 2 or 3 hit me up and they're interested in working with you guys, and then some custom snippet about their company. They're their city or their something. And again, it's just 4 sentences. You gotta make it a little bit more customized.
Yeah.
Same kind of advice before. Is again, when you think about how you're interacting with the people when you're doing DMs, and it's the same honestly, it's the same on Instagram too, right? If you're direct messaging people, if you want them to reach out to you, but again, it's got to be some type of insight and understanding of their pain, and be okay with it being a little bit, even in your face. So for example, I'm a Chiefs fan, right? Mm-hmm. The 8-1 Kansas City Chiefs. Big shout out. And so, we're doing a lot of this social media stuff. So for me, I'm like, well, I'm just going to start DMing Chiefs players. I'm like, and I'm not going to go after like Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce. I'm like, I'm going to go after like the guys who I know are going to be all pro in a few years. So I DM this guy and I told him, I was like, hey man, I think your Instagram stories, I think you should think about like doing more like surprise and delights. I got a few ideas. The next day, his agent DM'd me back. Right. And I just said something to him, and I think a lot of people in their messages, and Patrick, I've got your note here too. A lot of people in their messages, you're not really saying anything specific to that company. Like, hey, I did something. I looked at your company. So it's the same advice when you're talking about how you're writing the top of your profile. I think, Trevor, for the next week, try in your DMs to do something that's specific. So for me, David on Instagram asked, like, what's the good ratio for DMs? For me, I don't direct message very many people unless it's like timely. For me, the trigger for me is timing. There's something that I saw on their profile. There's something that I see that triggers me to reach out to them because I can make it specific and not generic. So think about that. Is there anything that's happening in the climate, in the whatever, in the world that you could then do to make it more specific to them? And that would be my advice to you, man, is just try to get a little bit more personal with them and show that hey, I know you guys have 10 of these roles. Look, CNC machinist, man, look, I know it's tough to find good ones, right? You got a lot of guys fresh out of vocational school, right, who those aren't necessarily ones you want. You need those 3 to 5 years who are going to stay with you for forever. Like, I get it. I've been there. This is what I've got waiting for you. Let's set up some time to meet, or let me know, and I can share their profile.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. All right, Patrick, hold on. I'll get to yours real quick. Give me one sec. Patrick's question was, it's all about a question I have is about call to action in posts. Thinking from an outbound email, does posting question marks get more responses? You just making a statement. Okay, this is a really interesting one. Emily's got some thoughts on this too. Oh, good. Skaled Consulting joined the live stream. Thank you, Emily. So how I think about this one in particular is it's really tricky. We stay away from a lot of questions. It's really hit or miss. Sometimes it's like you could post a question and it will take off, and other times it's like crickets. So we, for the most part, stay away from just asking like questions. Because again, it's just so hit or miss. But we'll throw it in every once in a while. Like we still do it. And and a lot of times we'll ask like rhetorical, like if you look at a lot of my posts, like I'll ask like a question and I'll answer it, or ask like a question and then I'll do something else with it, or I'll start to seed the answer. But I would say questions are going to be better for you when you start to build up an audience. Once people start to know that Patrick posts every day, they start to comment on your post consistently, then you can start to like activate them. But look, with that being said, if you've got something that's topical and you can use maybe some hashtags to grow your audience, I think it's all about experimenting. Definitely don't say, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like I already understand I know what you're saying. I say it sometimes too. It's more like insecurity. You say, comments in below. It's like, dude, if you just post a question with like something else, like I kind of know what you want me to do, but I say it too, just like to tell you like, oh, please comment below, please. All right. We've got time for maybe one more. And then, I saw somebody on Facebook Live already sent over an email address. We've got like 10 or 15 people so far. So we'll try to sneak all of y'all in, doing a little one-to-one session. Last question. Oh, wait, no. Patrick just said, yes, I hate it to the cheesy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, time for one more question on messaging tactics that you can go and use this week. Who's DMing people? Jonathan, Glenn?
You answered my question on direct outreach.
Yep.
Something just hit me though. So do you have a strategy on like replying to people's posts? Because I just accidentally created one where somebody said, hey, let's talk. It was totally unintentional, and I'm like, I'm not even trying to do this right now. I'm just trying to write a post a day and I'm trying to update my profile, and this you know, as the only person in my company right now, obviously I'm trying to like onboard a new client and sign up another one. So like, have you started doing that?
Commenting on other people's stuff? Oh yeah, for sure. There was some pretty humorous. If you go, Emily, what day was that? That the spammer guy?
Oh my gosh, I think that was last week Thursday.
Last Thursday.
Yeah.
You can scroll. If you scroll back through my feeds, there's a pretty interesting. This dude hated people. He hated people cold emailing him, but his LinkedIn profile said contact me and gave his email. And so he like showed this screen of people. So here's what I would say. I'll just tell you, this is my strategy for commenting on other people's stuff. I do it almost every day, at least one or two people. I only comment if I think I have something interesting to add. I'll like people's stuff, or I'll, you know, if it's someone I know, and I'll comment and say, "Hey, man, good job," or something like that. But I try to just talk about stuff I know. So, like, you know, I'll comment on like Jason Limkin's stuff because he talks a lot about SaaS and sales, and you know, I'll comment on like other VCs and other people. But candidly, Jonathan, to your point, man, I don't really have an agenda. And I think what you're seeing though is that one random person said, "Hey, let's connect." Dude, that's just kind of how this is. Like, that's the point of like posting every day. You know, if you ask me, Jake, what's the ROI of like one LinkedIn post? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I have no clue, right? All I know is it's the cumulative effect seems to be working. You know what I mean? And so don't overthink it. Don't then try to recreate it. Trust me, and I'm just telling you guys this because I've done all of this. Like, don't try to recreate it. It's not like it's gone. Like, whatever it was. I had a post. I did like a late night post on like, I think it's Thursday night, and it got like 400 likes and like 40,000 views. And it was just like about it's the first day of Q1 or Q4. And I was like, what? I sent Emily a text. I'm like, how is this possible? Like, we do these videos and this other stuff, and this random text post like 6 p.m. gets like, so man, look, I don't know. There is no perfect algorithm about this stuff. The key is what you're realizing is just consistency, man, and just consistently like putting it out there. So then, you know, you're there when people are thinking about you. So I think, yes, I would say get familiar, get comfortable posting yourself once a day. And then, you know, just mess around on your phone and just comment on through your stream of the people you think are interesting. But don't overthink it. You're not going to figure it out. You know, like trust me, it's the post that I'm like, oh man, this is going to be so good. And then it's terrible. And then then some, you just do small ones and then they do really well. So I don't know, man. There is no magic recipe for how to like make things go viral or to make things take off. So to me, it's about consistency. And now, again, I try to comment at least on 2, 3, 4 posts a day when I know it's something that I know something about, right? But you guys really, I suggest everyone should go check out this thread that this dude posted about the spammer. It's one of the funniest. It's one of the most funny. I got a bunch of DMs and messages from people being like, Jake, this has to stop. Like, so this guy really hates people emailing him. I won't call him out right now, but so cool. All right, guys. So again, everyone, it seems like a lot of you guys have made updates to your profile, which is awesome. A lot of you are already starting to see. I mean, dude, I love the stories, man. Jonathan's starting to post more. Trevor's starting to post more. Already starting to see some people responding. Like, guys, it really is just that simple. Just putting out text-based posts. You know what I'm saying? Putting out like those types of posts that people can, you know, hear your opinion or see what you're about. And then in messaging, you know, again, you know, for Trevor and for all of you, just really think about getting specific. You know what I mean? Like, are you being specific? Or could I copy and paste that to 800 other people? Again, my trick is it's almost always an action based. I saw something on their profile. I saw something in the news or whatever it is. So then I can, you know, interact with them. So again, Emily has all y'all's email. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, DM us your details and we'll see if we can do a session with you. For all of you, we're going to be reaching out to schedule time, like cool little like 15, 30-minute block, just talk through it, give you guys some one-to-one advice and get you guys moving in the right direction. Awesome. Cool. All right. Awesome. Everyone have a great night.
You too.
See you, everyone.